Hi there. Today I would like to talk about composting. Composting is a great way to eliminate a lot of your trash, your stinky trash, and it's a great way to create beautiful, organic, rich, full of nutrients soil for your plants around your house. So if you know any gardeners who do this, you'll notice that their plants look beautiful and healthy. Well, remember I was cutting watermelon in the last video? Today I cut some watermelon and I thought, oh, this will be a good day to show you about composting. So, in this bowl I have watermelon that I cut very small into smaller pieces. The smaller you cut it, the better off it will decompose. I have paper towels that I used while I was cutting the watermelon. I broke those up. Here's some coffee grinds, little pieces of a rotten apple, and all of the watermelon chunks. I have some romaine lettuce that nobody ate and it started to turn brown, so I'm adding that to this pile. Now this pile I started about a month ago. Poured some old plants on it and some organic matter, some waste from the kitchen, and just let it go. There's some plants here that died in the pots. I put those whole plants in there. The purpose of making a compost pile is for all of these ingredients to decompose and to make beautiful soil. I also have some, you can only use a brown paper bag so many times until it gets holes and there's no other use for it. So here's some pieces of paper bag. And on top of this, I'm dumping some shredded paper. And at this point, I could mix it all together. But one thing I would like to add first is some nice, beautiful compost that I made last spring that is now ready. This you could call black gold. This is all these things I just put into this pile that broke down, and now if I add it to this new pile, it will help activate it and get it started. Now this is October, so October is a great time to start a new pile, and if you toss it around, if you turn it a few times before it gets cold, and then let it go, it'll go dormant for the winter. And then in the spring, toss it a few more times. It should actually be ready. It should be black gold, like this right here. The size of your compost pile should be about 3 to 5 feet by 3 to 5 feet. That will give it enough space to aerate and to heat. When you turn it over, you mix the ingredients. And what happens is little microorganisms and worms and insects in the soil will start eating it and breaking it down. And then next spring, I'll have to show you what we have at that time. So there's your composting. It's basically adding greens and browns to the pile. Greens would be your produce from the kitchen, all your waste, and grass clippings and tea bags, coffee grinds, all those kind of things that basically came from the earth you're putting back. And then your browns would be things like the paper, the toilet paper rolls, egg cartons. You could break those up into little pieces, 12 pieces, and egg shells, straw, wood chips could also go in here. So you want to create a pretty good balance of the greens and the browns to keep it healthy. If it starts getting slimy or smelling bad, there's something wrong with the balance, and you'll have to check it out and add whatever you need. And that doesn't happen too often, but if it does, you can always research composting, which I suggest with anything new that you learn. Go online and just search composting. And a good tip is to add to the end of the word composting .edu or .psu edu. PSU stands for Penn State University, and they have great extension programs and information that teaches all about horticulture and agriculture. So if you put the edu or the PSU edu at the end of the word, it helps to eliminate most of the ads and businesses. You'll get right to the information that you want. When I was a volunteer for the Penn State Master Gardeners, that's one thing I used to do. I would man the phones and people would call with their questions about plants and diseases and insects, and we would find research-based information for them. So I couldn't tell you everything in this video. But if you're interested, this is something you can do to help the environment and help your landfill. And one thing I want to mention is, you notice I have this pile here in the woods. My neighbors can't see it, and it doesn't look like a pile of junk to them. So if you don't have a spot like this in your yard where you get some sun, some rain, and some privacy, the best thing to do would be to get a composting bin, which you can keep on your deck or by your back door. Before you put your compost ingredients outside, you can keep a little bucket or bin inside and just take it out every few days. This is the simplest, I think, but the bins are also very useful and they work very well. You just have to keep up with them. Okay, that's it for today. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show you. Here's a cardboard box that I broke down. You can create your own landscaping beds in your yard by just laying down a box in the area you would like to make your bed, your brand new bed. And you can, instead of this, you can also use layered newspaper. You probably need at least 12 sheets of newspaper. Lay it down in the fall. Fall would be the best time for that. Put some compost on top of it, or some mulch, or some wood chips. Cover it up to 4 or 5 inches high, and just let it sit for the whole winter. And in the spring, you'll have nice rich soil there, and you can define your edges the way you want. But this is a great way to create new landscaping beds without digging deep all around the edges. If you have the time, it's worth it. Oh, I did want to show you one more thing. This soil here, this compost, is beautiful. Here, look, here's a worm in it right here. It's nice and fluffy. It smells like earth. It doesn't stink. And it has aeration in it. There's more worms. There are still some ingredients that need to break down here a little bit. So I'm going to let this go for another few weeks. I'll toss it today and let it go. You want it to be totally broken down, because if you put incomplete or unfinished compost in the soil around the roots of your plants, the microorganisms and insects could eat the roots of your plants. They just think it's part of the process. So make sure it's totally cooked. There's a whole thing with checking the temperature and everything that you can do too. So if you're interested, go online, check it out, or talk to your local master gardeners. I hope you found this interesting and useful. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. And don't forget, go to Just Us Grown Up Girls on YouTube or Facebook and watch the interviews I have with remarkable women. They really put their hearts and souls out there for you, and they're full of wisdom and information that you might find useful in your lives. So thank you for watching. Bye-bye.